Hey guys, what's up? It's Jack here, and today I wanted to talk about the differences between a cold approach and a warm approach. Now, cold approach is when you go speak to a woman and you don't get any indicators of interest, you don't get any attention, she doesn't notice you. Often you kind of appear out of nowhere for her. So she hasn't looked your way, given you no signs of attraction. It's usually you noticing her and she doesn't notice you, and you go up to her and you start talking to her. Now, the disadvantages here are this approach is harder to make work, right? Because she hasn't given you any attention, she hasn't given you any signs of attraction, no indicators of interest, nothing. You're going in cold. The great thing about it is when you do get attraction, it's very strong. So if you go in and you talk to a girl or a woman and you just kind of came out of nowhere, it just has this whirlwind effect. Like you're this strong, kind of romantic, kind of like the archetypal man that she would want. And there's, you know, oftentimes, not, this is not all the time, not even half the time, but at times you will get really strong attraction because you just kind of appear out of nowhere, and she's like stunned that a guy had the balls to approach her. This is especially during daytime. I'm not talking about nighttime approaches. But yeah, that's the cold approach. Now, a warm approach, which is the type of approach, more typical, like most guys who approach, they often do more of a warm approach. The warm approach is where she has given you signs that she's either attracted to you or at least curious about you. So she's giving you eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds. It's not, it lasts a bit. So she's not just looking at you and then looking away after a second. It's like type eye contact where she looks at you for 3 seconds, or she looks at you and then she looks down. It's not that sideways glance. Or it's where she kind of comes and hovers in your area. So, 95, I would say, percent of women will never approach you no matter how attracted they are to you, but they'll kind of hover in your area and they'll give you the chance to approach them. Or they'll give you indicators of interest. So when you look at them, she'll give you, eye contact back. She'll match your eye contact. Or when you're looking at her, she'll smile, or maybe she'll laugh, or maybe she'll play nervously with her hair. It's something to that effect. That some type of indication that, it's okay to approach, and your chances are very high that if you approach, you'll get attraction, as long as you don't do anything weird. So as long as you're normal, you'll gain attraction and she'll be happy to talk to you. And with warm approach, a lot of guys do this. So they'll work on their physical appearance, so their look, their clothing. It's something exterior, like they'll have a really nice car, something to get the woman's attention first. A lot of guys, they go out to the clubs and they get VIP, so everybody's looking their way. Champagne bottles with fireworks and sparklers are being lit up, so girls are looking their way. Even if the girls aren't attracted, just them giving the guys attention is enough, because if a girl is curious, the next thing after curiosity is attraction. As long as you get any attention that is good, like curiosity, it's great that you can do a warm approach. So there are a couple of guys that preach this warm approach. One of them is this dude on YouTube called Alpha Male Strategies. He's this black dude. He's tall, I think, like he's like 6'3" or 6'4", and he preaches, getting dressed up, looking really nice suit. He has some nice car. He goes out to the club. He doesn't really do cold approaches, because in cold approach, your chances of rejection are way, way higher than off a warm approach. At the same time, like I said, when you do get attraction off a cold approach, it's huge. Like, it is ridiculous. You can build the tension and the sexual attraction between you and a woman really quickly. It's, maximum a few seconds, maybe 10 seconds at most. And she already knows, hey, this is the type of man that is not going to tremble. He has been around attractive women, and he's not going to get weird or needy, or, there's no weird tension that he's going to create. And both work. I mean, your chances are better with warm approaching, but I think you should just go regardless if she doesn't give you attention or she gives you attention. If you find a woman attractive, you should just approach her. A lot of guys make the mistake of waiting too long, and either, there will be some other type of event outside of your control that will blow your approach window. I would say you have a certain amount of time, your approach time or your approach window. And after that, you're kind of screwed. So, she might have a friend that comes in. She might leave that area. So this is why the 3-second rule was created, because as soon as you see the woman, you don't necessarily need to wait for her attention unless you're sure that she's going to be there a while. But oftentimes something happens. I've had it happen so many times. If I wait longer than 3 to 5 seconds, some outside factor, like her friend comes in, some other dude starts hitting on her, she leaves, there's all kinds of things that could happen. So as soon as you see the girl, you should be approaching. Or as soon as you see the woman you're attracted to, you should approach her. Don't wait for indicators of interest. Don't wait for her to give you attention. Don't wait for her approval. Just go in. And if you're sure she's going to be in that area for a while, you can try to do what's called forcing IOIs. There's a guy that preaches this. I think his name is Steve Java. He's a seduction guru. And I've done this a long time because I always try to get eye contact when I'm approaching. Even as I'm approaching, if it's a cold approach and I'm going in, I'm still trying to look at her eyes and get her to even look up as I approach. So as long as I have some eye contact, it's likely to lead to a better result. Now, I don't always do this, but he preached, if you have some time, you should try to force the IOI. And what he meant by that is just try to get her eye contact. Or if she's in your area and you're out with friends, you can raise your voice, do some funny imitation of someone. Or I believe he had one where he said he would be on the bus and he had huge biceps, so he would flex them. Like, he'd look like he's holding onto the bar and he'd be flexing, so the girl looks at his bicep and then he'd be like, hey, how are you? Or something to that effect. Or if he's standing in line somewhere, he'll start up a conversation. He'll just say something like, that looks tasty, or that looks delicious, or something that's just kind of like a throwaway. So to get the girl to give him some type of attention. And then it's a warm approach, and then it's more likely to lead to success. So those are the differences. And like I said, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't wait to warm approach. Both work, although your chances are higher of rejection on the cold approach. There's an also higher chance of you building really strong sexual tension, because it just looks like you appeared out of nowhere. That tension and that manly energy and that ability to create tension is stronger off the cold approach if she hasn't seen you at all. Now, similarly, with a warm approach, you can still build tension, you can still build a sexual tension, but from my experience, it's not as strong as when you go off the cold approach. So those are the advantages and disadvantages. Off cold approach, higher likely chance of getting rejected or getting blown off. A lot of times, well, I don't want to say a lot of times, but sometimes off cold approach, the girl won't even look at you. So you go up and you say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I just saw you and I wanted to come talk to you. You looked really cute. She may, as soon as you say, hey, I'm blah, 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 she'll just kind of be like, hey, I'm not interested. But she's not even looking at you. She's just looking at her phone and she'll just be like, yeah, no, thanks. You know, she doesn't even look up. She's like, yeah, no, thanks. So she doesn't even see how you are. It's not about your physical appearance. It's not about how you look, because a lot of guys think looks are the only important thing. I mean, they are part of the formula. I would say 20 to 25%, but you don't have to be really good looking to get girls. Now, they certainly help, just like you don't have to be rich to get girls. Certainly helps though. So, yeah, those are differences. Warm approach, higher chances of success, but that really strong sexual tension won't be as strong as off a completely cold, she gives you nothing approach. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching. I'll be making more great ones. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Dating Architect. Well, actually, no. Hit me up on facebook.com/dating architect and just send me a quick message and I'll be happy to get back to you.